Let's begin with a story. During the filming of Terminator Salvation, Christian Bale exploded into a fit of anger after the director of photography accidentally walked on set.
Kick your I want you off the set, you No, don't just be sorry. Think for 1 second. What the are you doing? Are you professional or not? Yes, I am. Do I walk around and rip that? No, shut the up, Bruce. Do I want? No! No! Don't shut me up. Am I gonna walk around and rip your lights down? I wanna kick your You know, shut up for a second, all right? I'm gonna go. Do you want me to go trash your lights? Do you want me to trash them? Then why are you trashing my scene? You are trashing my scene. You do it one more time, and I ain't walking on this set if you're still hired.
Days later, Bale apologized, and the message in his apology was dramatically different.
The thing that I really want to stress is I have no confusion whatsoever. I was out of order beyond belief. I was way out of order. I acted like a punk. I regret that. And there is nobody that has heard that tape that is hit harder by it than me. I make no excuses for it. It is inexcusable. And I hope that that is absolutely clear. I got annoyed, and then what happened, I made it ugly. And that was awful of me. I took it way too far. Listen, when I'm saying I'm not coming back on that set if he's still hired, you know what? It's hot air. So please, I just want to make completely clear, I am embarrassed by it, and I regret it, and I ask everybody to sit down and ask themselves, have they ever had a bad day? Have they ever lost their temper and really regretted it immensely?
On the surface, Bale's behavior makes little sense. After all, why would he say something he didn't believe, especially if doing so damages his reputation and his relationships? As odd as this behavior is, it's a rather common human trait. Otherwise rational people seem to become irrational in a matter of seconds. It's as if they flip a switch. You've probably even done this yourself. Maybe you said something you didn't mean in the middle of a heated argument, or maybe you overreacted at work when you felt overwhelmed and frustrated. If you acted this way in the past, then there's a good chance that you paid the price for your behavior. And that's because rarely do these types of outbursts improve a situation. In fact, countless people have lost jobs or damaged relationships as a result of acting this way. What's even more interesting about this type of behavior is people often have no idea why they do it. In fact, it's not uncommon to hear people say things like, I have no idea what came over me. So the obvious question becomes, why do we act this way? And the answer to that question lies within the human brain. In order to avoid the extinction list for 6 million years, the human brain had to be great at two things. Those are thinking and responding to threats. As a result, specific regions of the brain evolved to handle both tasks. Region number 1 is what I refer to as the thinking brain. The thinking brain is the area of your brain known as the cerebral cortex, and it handles all high-level thought. Your ability to make plans, process language, and build complex objects like smartphones is made possible by the thinking brain. Now, all of the thinking brain's processing power comes at the expense of being slow. So in general, you can consider the thinking brain to be smart but slow. The big problem with the thinking brain is in critical situations, it's not fast enough to save your life. And that's where the second region of your brain comes in. Region number 2 is what I refer to as the reacting brain. The reacting brain is an area of your brain known as the amygdala, and it makes up for the thinking brain's lack of speed. This is the part of your brain that regulates emotions and allows you to make split-second decisions that keep you alive when faced with threats. The big problem with the reacting brain is that it chooses speed over logic, and as a result, often makes poor decisions. In general, you can think of the reacting brain as being fast but dumb. And it's this fast but dumb brain that gets you in trouble. Here's how. Environmental cues enter your brain via the 5 senses. If the cue is non-threatening, it travels to the thinking brain for logical processing, and then to the reacting brain for emotional processing. But if the cue is something threatening, like a snake or a spider, your brain has to keep you alive, so to save time, it bypasses the thinking brain and sends the cue directly to your reacting brain. It's as if your brain flips a switch that shuts off the thinking part of your brain so you can react in an instant without thinking. And I refer to this process as flipping the logic switch. And it's this switch that explains why people go from being rational to irrational in a matter of seconds. Now, what's important to understand is in addition to threats like spiders and snakes shutting off your thinking brain, strong emotions also have the ability to flip the logic switch. Now, in general, as the strength of your emotions increases, your ability to think logically decreases. So anytime you're feeling overly stressed, angry, or frustrated, the thinking part of your brain is impaired and you're working primarily from your fast but dumb emotional brain. And this explains why Christian Bale said a list of things that he regretted only days later. Now, this single concept that your brain goes from being in a smart state to a dumb state is one of the most important things that you can learn about your brain. And that's because so many of life's problems are created when you use your dumb brain to make decisions that your smart brain should be making. The logic switch explains why somebody says something they don't mean in the middle of a heated argument. It explains why somebody dumps their life savings into a Ponzi scheme. And it explains why people who are infatuated get married after only 2 weeks of dating. Now, one of the easiest ways to improve your life is to stop making decisions when your brain is in the dumb state. And knowing this, there's tremendous value in learning how to identify when your logic switch is off, and then learning how to turn it back on again. And thankfully, you can do this with a 2-step process. Step number 1 is learn to become aware of your emotions. Because we know that strong emotions shut off the thinking brain, learning to become aware of your emotions is helpful because it lets you know when your dumb brain is calling the shots and you probably shouldn't be making decisions. Unfortunately, this is a challenging first step, and studies show that 64% of us are unable to identify our emotions. But thankfully, the following 3 ideas can help. Idea number 1 is identify what emotions you're feeling a few times per day. To do this, just select a few random times throughout the day and try to describe in as much detail what you're feeling. Now, don't worry about making this perfect. Just try to describe what you're feeling in as much detail as possible. Now, this might be challenging at first, but it should get easier with time. Idea number 2 is identify changes of emotion. The next step is to identify strong and sudden changes in emotion. Now, in this stage, don't worry about what caused the change. Just focus on recognizing the change itself. One trick for doing this is paying attention to physical symptoms inside of your body. When you experience strong emotions, you may notice an increase in heart rate, butterflies in your stomach, or a tightness in your chest. So you can use these symptoms as clues that your emotions have suddenly changed. Idea number 3 is identify the trigger. Once you're able to identify strong shifts in emotion, you'll want to identify the cause. You might notice that you feel angry when your boss dumps a last-minute assignment on your desk, or that you feel frustrated when your spouse takes hours to respond to a text message. Now, learning to identify these triggers is helpful because they act as warning signs that your thinking brain might be impaired. Step number 2 is wait. Once you identify that your logic switch is off, you want to make sure that it's turned back on again before making any important decisions. Here's how you can do that. The reason that your logic switch turns off in the first place is because threats and strong emotions elevate specific chemicals in your brain. And it's not until these chemicals return to normal that your logic switch turns back on. Now, this process can take anywhere from 6 seconds to 20 minutes. So while it's incredibly hard to resist the urge to react when you're angry or frustrated or excited, the best thing that you can do is wait. If your spouse says something that's upsetting, give yourself at least 6 seconds to take a breath and think. And if your emotions are completely overwhelming, then it's probably a good idea to take a 20-minute break. After all, there's a reason why the saying, walk it off, exists. Ultimately, these 2 steps, learning how to identify when your logic switch is off and then how to turn it back on again, are incredibly powerful. And that's because they allow you to stop making decisions when your brain is in the dumb state. And it's these simple changes that can save your job, your relationships, and your reputation. I can't thank you enough for watching this video, and I hope it was helpful. Now, I am shamelessly trying to grow this channel, so it would mean the world if you could subscribe, like, and share this video. Believe it or not, it takes over 100 hours to make these videos, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Now, if you want more information like this, then I highly recommend you check out my app, Aware. Aware is a self-improvement based meditation app that teaches you important skills like how to make better decisions, build good habits, and develop more self-confidence. The app combines all of those lessons with guided meditation, which helps you develop the state of mind and self-awareness needed to apply what you've learned. On top of that, you also get the benefits of meditation, like improved focus and sleep, plus a reduction in negative emotions like stress, anxiety, and sadness. So if you like the type of content you see on this channel and self-improvement in general, then I think you'll love Aware. It's available on iOS, Android, and the web, and you can get started for free with the links below in the description. As a final note, I've also listed some helpful resources below, like a transcript of this video that cover all of the ideas I shared today in a clear and organized format. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.